I really want to trust these guys. It's just that with a straight face during a Tekken Talk Live, they said that Season 2 will focus on defense. And we all know how that turned out. Some characters can be played almost like spam. Have you guys played Season 2 lately online? Have you played against the new Lars? The new Leroy? The new Asuka? I mean, the new half a fucking roster? It's literally brain dead spam with very little risk. What's up, guys? MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. It's a bit of a conversation. Nee on Twitter is venting his issues and the stress of playing Season 2. And apparently, Harada himself took to Twitter to respond to Nee. I have not read any of this, so we can just read it together. So Nee writes here, Season 2 has a lot of homing and follow-up attacks, and homing moves are less risky now. When a homing attack succeeds, the reward is also quite high. Some characters' stacks are too powerful. I'm assuming he means install, while characters without stack mechanics feel very disadvantaged. That's a very fair point. Some guard break moves are also hard to deal with and carry little risk. Here we have to mention immediately Claudio's new guard break. In case you don't know, he does forward foot free too. I don't even understand what the idea was behind the attack. So he has Starburst and he does a kick like this with really smelly feet, by the way. And then he does a punch. And if he charges it fully, your guard breaks and he gets free too, a 60 damage wall splat. If he just chooses to not fully charge, but just do a semi-charge that you can't interrupt, you either get wall splatted because you pressed, or if you blocked, he's +1. He didn't even risk anything, so it's a completely invincible move. And the funny thing is, if he gets the full guard break on you, and he wall splats you into his full wall combo, his new wall combo gives him Starburst back. So when you scramble up to your feet, it's the same fucking mix-up again. So that's probably what he's talking about here. And then also, like, homing follow-up attacks. Homing moves are less risky now. When a homing attack succeeds, the reward is also quite high. There are plenty of interactions now where characters have homing attacks that are plus. So even if you step and you block in time because you figure he might be doing the homing. So you're doing sort of an option select, right? If he's doing the linear move, that's devastating, I step. But I option select, I block in time just in case he did a homing. Guess what? The homing is +4 on block. So it's his turn again. You displayed some cool ass core defense, but you don't get anything for it. Instead, you just block and it's his turn again. It's just characters stacking mix-ups on top of each other. It's like Lars, you know, with the stomp. Even if you block the stomp, he's already winding up the next mix-up on a low. I don't know why they put stuff like this in the game, but we're all as confused. Why do you keep making it harder to play defense? Honestly, there are so many homing attacks that it's getting harder to play the game like a true 3D game. Activate, and this is in a patch where they made sidesteps better, but of course give King a homing giant swing so that it doesn't matter. And it's funny thinking about Lily as a character in this environment because Lily is all about sidesteps. It's her biggest asset. It's not any attack she does, it is her sidestep. But what is Lily's place in a game where the top 10 characters have homing attacks that are plus on block? What does Lily do in that environment? I have no clue. Activating heat from a stance feels awkward and leads to ridiculous combos, and some characters can't even activate heat while in a stance. Some characters can be played almost like spam. Have you guys played Season 2 lately online? Guys, I shit you not. You know what I got? This was in a row, by the way. Kuma, Azucena, Azucena, Yoshi, Azucena, Leroy, Eddie. After that, I stopped playing, dropped my stick, put it on the ground, and started contemplating my own existence. It was so painful. Here, spam. Have you played against the new Lars? The new Leroy? The new Asuka? I mean, the new half a fucking roster? Yeah, it's literally brain dead spam with very little risk. It's an avalanche of Leo now. Suddenly these characters are everywhere. It's just an avalanche of bullshit. And you just pray to God, by the time he runs out of heat or bullshit, that you're still alive. And you can maybe take your turn again, but yeah. They do brain dead spam with little risk and the play still works. They are rewarded. The size of the maps doesn't really matter. Most of the time you can get to the wall with just 2 spins. We know we're gonna nerf with the upcoming patch combos. Good idea here would to be to allow only 1 tailspin per combo, and also heat burst shouldn't bound. I mean, I'm a Heihachi main, and I can in a combo do 2 bounds. A normal tornado, and then heat burst bound, and I can use 2 tailspins in the combo. You know, it's just... you wall to wall on most maps. I don't understand why heat recovery for some characters. Most notable example now is probably Lars getting heat back as he's doing his stances. King gets a ton of heat back for doing super OP shit. King lands a homing giant swing. Well, he gets a ton of heat back because he did an OP attack. Rewarded, you get rewarded for throwing your most OP shit that has almost no counterplay. Here's more heat. Do it again. Meanwhile, other characters consume heat so quickly that it disappears almost instantly. I think some things... but this should be the norm. That should be the norm. I think these things lower the overall quality of a fighting game. I don't want to speak negatively about the game, but it's very stressful to play, hard to enjoy. Yeah, we all love this game so much. I mean, he's been playing the game. I've been playing for 30 years. Nia's been playing since Tag 1. I think was his first game. So he's been playing for... if he played it in arcades, he's 26, 27 years. But, you know, we all just want the game to be better. We want it to get better. So here Harada actually responds to this tweet by Ni. I have confirmed my perception of this matter with the battle and tuning teams. They seem to understand your frustrations and are working to improve, so please give them a little more time. So he's basically just saying yet again that we are working on it, we are working on it. A longer one here. My post was a bit wordy on this matter, to be precise. The battle and tuning team has submitted the first ROMs of a fix for this, and the first phase of it will be introduced in the May update. Furthermore, after that, there will be another update in June that will be related to the defensive side of the game. The upcoming May patch that we get in what, like 1-2 weeks, I'm assuming that's also going to do defense stuff. We know we're going to nerf combos in that patch. Combos. Unless that patch includes a ton of nerfs, not buffs. It's funny, like, because Season 1, I think we all agreed, like, the S-tier characters have to come down. We have to play more like the more mediocre characters. Lee's heat should be the blueprint for everyone else's heat. Instead, they did the opposite, and even Lee got heat stupidity, and they doubled down on heat stupidity. More heat, low heat smashes. More 50-50, and then they buffed everyone. Instead of having less of those obnoxious characters where you have very little counterplay, they doubled down on it. And those characters are now half a fucking roster, if not more. And characters that used to be fun to play against, like Asuka and Steve, are a nightmare to play against now. And that's a shame. That's a real shame. Because if that patch is not good, the one that comes now, I mean, it's gonna feel like an eternity waiting for a June defensive patch, right? It's very alarming to see that Tekken 8 has gone down to the lowest number so far on Steam. And that's also doubly alarming because it's shortly after the release of a new season. So there's gigantic concern here. But saying the game is dying is a little bit stupid, because if you look at Tekken 7 at this point in time, it had way less players than Tekken 8. And that game still sold 12 million copies and still had a disastrous launch Leroy in Season 3. But, again, is it super alarming that the player count is going down pretty drastically? Very alarming. That's why I think they have to fix this now. Most people don't want to play ranked anymore, and I don't blame them, because it's a nightmare playing ranked right now. It's so sweaty, and it's full of the most insufferable characters. So that's why I'm saying, like, the player count is at its lowest so far, and if this patch doesn't deliver, how many players will be lost between May and June? So here, Alecito says, Harada, honestly, does the team even know what they want with Tekken 8? Every new patch seems like a new experiment. The disconnect between the player base and the development team is worrying. I used to also wonder, what exactly do they want? Because they wanted more aggression, right? And they certainly got it with Season 1. But then with the Season 2 patch, they buff sidesteps, and they say on a Tekken Talk Live, we're gonna give you guys defense now. But then they double down on the characters, giving them OP aggression and making every character super strong. Even the characters that were low tier in Season 1 are now monsters. I shit you not, in Season 2, the weakest you can call a character is A+. Oh, sorry, except for Lee. He's B tier. But he's alone in B tier. I forgot about Lee, sorry. Lee is alone in B tier. Every other character in the game, except for Li Xiaolan, is A+ and above. And that is true. That's not bullshit. So they double down on making everyone very oppressive. So I used to think, like, what is their vision? I used to also wonder, but having played Season 2 for a month now, it's very clear they are doubling down on the original concept for Tekken 8, which was aggression. And in the opinion of these guys, aggression makes for a dynamic game that's fun for an audience. Fun as an esport, because people are pressing a lot of buttons. And defense can be boring. That's what they're doing. 100% that's what they're doing. So Tekken 8 was challenging in some aspects with a new team for battle and tuning. But we have returned the team structure to the members of the past. So they had a new tuning team. They had a new balancing team. But we have returned... we have returned to the old team. I'm just wondering, please, Harada, make it public who fought Jax. Make some noise! Who designed that move? He doesn't have to post a picture of his face. I don't need to know his name. But I'm just wondering, who the hell thought that was a good idea? But it's probably the same person who thought Steve should have infinite heat smash, plus 11, wall splat, Lionheart. So I mean, it's probably the same person. In addition, the director Nakatsu, who we all know and love, has taken some criticism from the community. But I'm sure he's a good guy. I'm sure he means well. We shouldn't make it personal, you know, the criticism. But again, I don't know if it is Nakatsu. I don't know if it's Harada. I don't know if it's Murray. I don't know if it's Mishima Star. I don't know who is making these decisions, right? We don't know. Is now able to check and approve all the tuning in detail. But he gives final approval. Again, I'm hoping that what this means is that Nakatsu has taken in the criticism and he will now only have a stamp of approval on changes that mean nerfing. That's what I'm hoping this means. As you all know, he originally comes from a fan community. I didn't even know that. And was a writer for game magazines and strategy articles. And was also in charge of battles and tuning for Tag 2 and 7. Wow, I didn't know this. I thought Mishima Star was the head honcho. But so Nakatsu deserves more credit in terms of how much he actually knows. Oh, and he was in charge of battles and tuning for Tag 2 and 7. It's just funny seeing how a lot of people in the community who have been very upset about Season 2, and the most vocal upset, have been shitting on Nakatsu, and they've been glazing the shit out of Tekken 7. That game you love so much, Nakatsu was responsible for that as well. So it turns out, after all, Nakatsu is your hero, your knight in shining armor. Season 2 is really bad right now, but it's not so bad that I boot up Tekken 7. Am I gonna look at it with nostalgia? Because Tekken 8 is in a bad place right now? No, I still remember what that game was. Looking at a loading screen for half your playtime, literally, not a joke, and then a game featuring Akuma, Geese, Marduk, Lei, Katarina, Zafina, Kunimitsu, Negan, Leroy, Fakumram, Lucky Chloe. No thanks. It's arguably the worst roster of a Tekken game ever, in my opinion. In terms of pound for pound, airborne AIDS. That's the roster of Tekken 7. Yeah. So I don't think there's anything to worry about in the future. That's a big statement. I really hope so. And I really want to trust these guys. It's just that with a straight face during a Tekken Talk Live, they said that Season 2 will focus on defense. And we all know how that turned out. The thing is, now the #1 guy of Tekken says, I don't think there's anything to worry about in the future. Him saying that, if the upcoming patch sucks, it's gonna be impossible to... Literally impossible to take anything seriously that they say because of how Season 2 turned out to be, you know, when they promise defense and we get the opposite. You don't need members of a past, you outright need an entire new team, including you, Maria Nakatsu, the identity of Tekken. Oh, come on. That's really unfair. They have given you... I mean, these guys are Tekken. Especially Harada. He is Tekken. The reason you love this game is because of him. This is super unfair to say. The identity of Tekken has gone down the toilet because of your arrogance and greed. Okay, so this is a fucking asshole. Yeah. So that's what happened with that new team. Also, I already know that you don't need me for much longer. I've been trying to resolve this for the last few years, so wait. Oh no. I hope not. Because last thing I heard when I went to the 30-year celebration here in Stockholm, Murray and Harada were there, and someone asked them, like, how long do you guys see yourself continuing working on this series? And Harada said that, I have one more game in me. Like, Tekken 8 is not going to be my final Tekken game. I have one more in me. So he said, like, Tekken 9, most likely. In, like, 10 years. The thing is, when you mess up like this, and I feel like Harada and Murray sort of did it to themselves. They should have a community manager. They make themselves the face of a franchise on Twitter, so they're gonna get the blame for anything that goes wrong. Even if it doesn't have anything to do with them, they're going to get the blame. But in the end, also, they are the bosses. They probably have the final say on everything. But being on Twitter means that, and this is probably not even close to as how awful it gets for them in terms of criticism. But it's like, it's always been very obvious to me that Harada loves his game. He loves Tekken. He's a huge fan of Tekken. Making these games to these guys, it's always like they pour their heart into it. And sometimes they fuck up. Tekken 6 Bob. Tekken 7 Leroy. Tekken 8, well, quite a few characters. Well, Akuma. They fuck up. But at the same time, you can always see the vision in everything. I hated Akuma in Tekken 7. When you look at it through an objective lens, what they did was kind of innovative. Did I pronounce that correctly? Innovative. Most people would not have been able to do what they did, in my opinion. Capcom put Tekken characters in Street Fighter X Tekken, but they still played like Street Fighter characters. Bandai Namco, they took Akuma into Tekken, and he was allowed to bring the entire 2D system into Tekken and its 3D environment. And you can say whatever you want about that and how broken it was. But was it ballsy and creative as fuck? 200% it was. As much as I hate that character and how broken he was, it's like, that was ballsy as fuck what they did. Same dude gave us Tekken 3, Tekken 5, Tekken 7. So it's like, you know, yeah, is the game in a slump? Absolutely. But the reason this game, the reason we are all fans of this game is due to these people. Yeah, I don't know. It feels kind of shitty to start questioning the character of these people and how much they actually like the game that they created. At the same time, I hope they live up to this statement. There's nothing to worry about in the future. For it to feel that way, the May patch has to deliver. Because otherwise, we know there's a patch a month after that in June, but that's 30 days of wait. It's already right now really rough playing ranked. So yeah, the May patch better deliver on the defensive side of things. I really, really hope it does. And I think they have to reconsider Heat a little bit, because they've made Heat so unbelievably strong with Season 2 that this idea that we floated around that you have to earn Heat. Like meter in Street Fighter. You earn it through the rounds and then you can pop your Heat. Maybe that would be a good idea. Because that sorts a lot of things like that. So rather than going character on a character basis, you know, character to character to character, nerfing their individual Heat stuff, just put a cap on Heat. That you earn it, you build that meter. But alright, so that's a little bit of an update on the conversation here regarding Season 2. And we are all waiting for the May patch. Hope they live up to those words. Yeah, thanks for listening and have a nice day.